Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And in this video, I wanted to talk about what if. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because in the past year, maybe even a little more than a year, At&T has made some very strong, compelling moves, and some of you would even say aggressive, for the better of the company. It's all in the benefit of the company. And the market has given At&T hardly any credit, if any at all, for the moves. I mean, they closed the Time Warner transaction after all the legal fees and the court issues and going through all that. They closed that merger, and then they turned that HBO Max product into a success. They started launching movies on the platform day one during the pandemic, and they started growing millions every quarter, and they took the product to what it is today, and the market gave them no credit. The stock hardly moved. So that was the first big deal that I think where the market gave them zero credit, and that was from what they announced and talked about. That was part of the reason why essentially they're trying to merge Time Warner into Discovery Plus, because the market gives them no credit for the success that it has had. Another success is the DirecTV deal. They closed that deal. They spun it off. It's merged into a whole nother company. And At&T still owns 70% of that company, and the market gave them no credit. The stock hardly moved. In fact, the stock has lowered in recent time. It went from 32 down to 28. And I'm no financial expert or advisor, so don't take any of this for stock advice. But if that stock goes any lower, you almost have to buy it. I mean, it has to be the most undervalued wireless company in history, in my opinion, with these recent moves. And then in the last 4 quarters, At&T has had significant amounts more growth versus previous years. In fact, the last quarter, they had the biggest growth in the entire wireless industry. Stock barely moved an inch. In fact, it flatlined that day. It was green for a little bit, and then it went back into the red. So what is At&T going to have to do to move the needle? So in that regard, I wanted to throw out a what if and ask you guys, what if At&T started including taxes and fees on their unlimited postpaid plans? Do you guys think that would move the needle in terms of the market getting on board with At&T? Or do you guys think it would just accelerate At&T's growth even further on a quarterly basis? That's essentially what my what if was. What if they did that? Could that accelerate the stock to grow? Or do you guys think it would just accelerate the growth? So last quarter, just to throw it out there, they had 798,000 postpaid line adds to the company, which was the biggest in that quarter. They had the biggest growth out of any wireless carrier, including T-Mobile. So would a move of including taxes and fees onto the unlimited plans get them to cross that million threshold a quarter? Could they gain 1 million ads a quarter by including that onto their plans? By the way, T-Mobile has been including taxes and fees on their plans for a very long time now. Or, again, just some basic math off the top of my head, I'm going to assume if they eat the cost of taxes and fees, it's probably going to be a hit on margins and profit. Do you guys think the market may negatively react to that if that were to be included ever for the company? So that's kind of my what if. I think At&T has overcome a lot of troubles from previous management. I think they have momentum. I think they have a solid strategy. I think there's more work that needs to be done, that can be done, of course. I think there's some, issues on the back end, the billing systems, the app, the website, just some of the basic stuff. They can make that better. But I do think that the company is in much better shape now than what the market may make you or have you believe. And that's just my opinion. That's really just my opinion on that. I think At&T is financially better off. I mean, they're getting ready to spin off Warner Media next year if approved. They're selling its individual assets that didn't make the cut of that merger. They're selling it off. They sold Crunchyroll for $1.5 billion. They sold another portion of that they owned that was part of EA. They sold that for $1.4 billion. They're in talks of selling TMZ. That's likely another $1 billion valuation. I mean, they're going to make some serious money off of those assets. And that's play money, so to speak. They can kind of, put that money wherever they would like. If they want to pay off debt, they put that money towards the debt. They want to invest more in the company, they put more investment into the company. So that's really a good, if you're in that type of position, that's a good position to be in as a company. And that's the position that At&T is in, especially once that merger closes next year. If they get it approved with this Warner Media spinoff and the CapEx goes up to that $24 billion mark, they're going to invest even more into the company. So again, I think the market is a little bit out of touch on this one. I think At&T is a bit better off, actually much better off than what the market may have you believe. The fiber situation, again, it's a very, and I was talking to the tech extremist on this one, and the fiber investment, don't get me wrong, it's a very intensive, capital intensive investment. It's very expensive to do it. But out of any company that's ever attempted this, and this includes Google, which is a bigger company, by the way, Google stopped. And I'm sure there's been other companies in the past, can't name them right now, that have wanted to get into fiber and they likely stopped too. The only difference is At&T seems more committed and they're actually making the investment year in and year out. So I can't bash them for that. They make the investment. It's a top-notch product. It's the best internet product you can possibly have. There's no guessing game on this fiber. It's a direct connection, a high bandwidth connection to your house. There's no, with fixed wireless, you have to guess like, is the tower, is the sector pointing directly towards me? Am I going to have the best signal? Do I have to put the router on the top floor, the bottom floor? None of that. It's a direct connection into your house. You just connect it to the router and you get the speeds that your devices are capable of doing. So again, what if At&T implemented taxes and fees? Let me know in the comment section down below if that's a move that you think would be a good move. For the consumer, of course, if you have multiple lines, 3, 4, 5 lines, you're on At&T, you're going to save money. You're going to save money regardless. If At&T doesn't necessarily increase pricing to offset that cost, then they're going to, if they eat that cost, then of course that's going to be a margin and profit hit on their part. But for the consumer, I think that lowers the churn even more. Customers will stay, and I think they can accelerate the growth even further than what we've seen recently. So let me know in the comment section down below. If you have been on the channel or you're new to the channel and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow mine and Tech Extremist channels and social media outlets for more updates and interactions. Thanks again for watching. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.